welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Sierra.
I'm Adam.
And we're happy to have you guys here today. So today we are going to be doing a mukbang and a Q&A because you guys had some questions on our Instagram. So we figured we'd answer some questions for you guys. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, so we have Chick-fil-A here. If you guys can't tell, if you're not familiar with Chick-fil-A, this is Chick-fil-A. I have a chocolate milkshake, some waffle fries. I ate half of them in the car. I have some chicken nuggets and some mac and cheese. And what do you have?
I got mac and cheese as well, waffle fries, and a chicken sandwich, and I think this is cookies and cream milkshake.
So let's go ahead and get into the questions. First, I need to eat a little bit actually because I'm hungry. It looks so good. I was so hungry in the car. So good. Oh, and I'm actually trying Chick-fil-A sauce for the first time. I've never had it, but I've seen so many people that like love it. Sorry if you guys can hear Hux. He's being annoying, squeaking his toy. Of course.
He's having fun.
Oh, I didn't know that one squeaked. Ooh. So if I don't like the Chick-fil-A sauce, I have barbecue sauce. And on my fries, I like to put mayo on them. Does anybody else like to do that?
No.
I love to do that. I just do this. It's so good. So good. Alright, let's try the Chick-fil-A sauce. I'll dip it in with a fry in it. It looks so weird. It looks kind of like cheese.
So it looks like cheese or queso.
It's actually pretty good. Can you try it?
Sure.
You dip your fry in it. It's like honey mustard, barbecue, and mayo, I think.
And I don't like two of those.
Honey mustard and barbecue?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty
That's
good.
not my favorite.
How's your mac and cheese?
Mac and cheese is good.
So, the first question, let's start out with like an easier question and then let's get into like the more juicy questions. Okay, the first question is, what type of videos will you guys be doing? And, well, my thought was that we would do like maybe some like pranks or like Q&As, kind of like lifestyle content. And like maybe like weekend in our lives, morning routine, stuff like that. What did you think, babe?
Something along those lines.
Yeah, so just kind of like showing our life and us and whatnot. Okay, and then our next question. Someone asked, this is to you, what types of video games do you play?
All types of games.
And how often do you play?
I play a good amount of times. I like to do it in my free time. That's like my favorite hobby. Play with a bunch of my friends. There's not really one specific game. It's kind of whatever we feel like.
You play on PC a lot.
I've been playing on PC a lot after I got to college. I used to be Xbox all the time, but now I play on PC.
Okay, and I guess leading after that is how somebody asked, how do you guys make sure you have independent time for yourself and your relationship?
A lot of times so like when I play my game, she has stuff she likes to work on, whether it be schoolwork or cleaning up or organizing her closet or whatnot. So it's usually while one of us are kind of doing their own thing, the other one's doing their own thing. It's not, I mean, you never want to have a schedule set to, okay, this is my free time, but it's just kind of natural. We hang out and
We have times we like to be apart.
And just times, I don't necessarily like to, just tend
like
to be
doing
apart.
our own thing.
Doing our own thing and whatnot.
Yeah. We like to make sure that we still are like ourselves, and I mean we don't have like, so we don't live where we're from, we're like a few cities away, so we don't have like a ton of friends here, so we don't like go out a lot like separately or whatnot. So it's just like mostly when we're at home, we'll kind of tend to do our own thing. It's not like we go out, you know, with other friends without the other one. But yeah, I hope that answers that question. We just kind of do our own thing.
The next question is, how have you guys been handling the pandemic?
Well, we haven't had COVID yet, thank goodness. But we don't really go, like I said, we don't really go out much. We do go out, like we have one of our friends here, we usually go out with him every week and just have dinner, which we're not out for very long. And then we like go grocery shopping and stuff, of course. Actually, when COVID first started, we were ordering our groceries online, and that was really helpful. But we have been going out a little bit more recently, just because more people are getting their vaccines and whatnot, and we still wear our masks and everything, of course. But we've just been careful, and it's been hard to be like stuck inside all the time, especially like in the winter and whatnot. But I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, we've been, like she said, we don't really have too many friends. We just kind of talk to whoever, whenever that we know around here, and we just kind of like to hang out around the house anyways. That's kind of how we are. We're not big, oh, we gotta go hang out with big gatherings with people. We're just kind of, we're both introverts, so we're in our comfort zone here anyways. So, and then wanted to be safe, and then it kind of helps on money more than you realize when you don't go out a lot, when you're not spending going out to different restaurants and whatnot and making your own food at home. So
Yeah.
all right, the next one is Adam. How did you know Sierra was the one? That's a very broad question, but
we can do like a whole video on how we met if
Yeah,
they
we
want,
could
because
do
it's
a-
a long story.
we could do a video how we met.
It'd be too
because
long
there's
to
a,
say
there's a few
everything.
questions in here that's all kind of related to that. Basically, this April will mark our 6-year mark, and we were high school sweethearts, studying freshman year. So after, because we did the whole long distance thing, because we each went to different colleges, and for the first year, and then we did that like it was no problem. We had no troubles, and ended up the year after getting an apartment together, and from there we had no really issues living together. I mean, there's nitpicky things that you find about people, but we never had problems, and grew to love her more and more every day. So I knew she was the one. She was a keeper.
Aww. Yeah, it's like a long story. Like of course we have a lot of history and whatnot, but yeah. And then I think another question was like, why did you say yes? And at the time, I wasn't necessarily looking for a relationship. I knew he liked me, of course, and like we were always talking. But we were young, of course. Like at that time, I don't think I knew that, you know, he would be the person that I would marry one day, but I was like, oh, I like him, you know, he's cute. Let's see where it goes.
Give him a try.
Yeah, give him a try, test him out.
Jerk.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know, there's something about you. And then it led us here.
The next question asked was, are you both helping with wedding planning?
Why don't you say your piece, babe?
So, I'm the kind of person that's like, I don't care. If she's happy, I'm happy. I could have a simple wedding. I'm the kind of person that the wedding could be meh, but I want to have a really nice honeymoon with her, because in the end it is.
We haven't really taken any big trips together either.
We've never taken a trip
Like
on
by
our
ourselves,
own
yeah.
together ever. So I'm the kind of person that's like, I could go with a meh kind of wedding, but have a really nice honeymoon with each other. And currently we are actually planning on going to Disney for that honeymoon. So, but as far as the wedding planning itself, it's more of when she needs my help, I'll help out. Mm-hmm. So like right now I'm working on the DJ and getting all that situated, but pretty much for the most part, I won't deny it that she's putting in a lot of work for it, because she has a whole vision that she's trying to bring to life. So
yeah, I would say like, I think if you ask anybody like the fiancés or the boyfriends or the future husbands, whatever, they don't really help very much, like with like coming up with ideas and things that they want. But I will ask him to do things and he'll help me with that. Like I told him, like the DJ is kind of like your one thing that I want you to do, but I do want his opinion for things. So like I'll show him different things, like, are you sure you like this? What do you think about that? You know, things like that. I want him to be involved, but he doesn't necessarily come up with the ideas, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't have a creative mind.
But yeah. And then kind of with that is, how did you decide on wedding colors and what type of wedding you wanted? So I guess this is more of a question for me because I didn't come up with much of it. But so wedding colors, I originally wanted a different color, but it just kind of changed. I just decided, because I really like the two colors together, I like a high contrast, and that's what our colors are. They're pink and navy blue, that's our colors. And then I'm gonna have some greens in there and some whites. But yeah, I don't know, I just really liked the colors together, and like I said, the contrast, and I think they would look really pretty because we're having an outdoor ceremony, and I don't know, I just liked the colors. And then how did you decide what type of wedding you wanted? I don't really know how this came to me. I think when you're little, and especially when you're a teenager, you kind of think, this is what I want my wedding to look like, this is how I want it to feel like. And we're having more of like a rustic glam kind of wedding, so I don't know, I like the rustic elements. We're getting married in a barn. We already booked our venue, so we're getting married in a barn. But I don't want it to be like burlap and kind of cheesy like that. I want it to still be elegant and like glam with some rustic elements like the wood and whatnot. But I don't know.
I think with the barn too, because how I've wanted it to be is, I want it to be about us, obviously, but I want other people to have fun on their own and not have it be necessarily all about us. Like, we're the ones making them have fun. So I always told her, like, I want there to be like some games out there and a lot of areas for people to hang out or whatnot. So like cornhole or ladders or just stuff like that, just for people to have fun elsewhere, and they don't have to. Because I know during weddings there's a lot of downtime for guests when they're not involved. Like when we'll be getting pictures, there's gonna be a lot of downtime. So just to give people stuff to do, so they're not bored or sitting there doing nothing the whole time. Because I want people to be able to still have fun, even if we're not there in the center of attention, or they're watching some sort of dance or a typical wedding event that you would see. So I think just kind of, and then the barn was kind of a happy medium of how she wanted it and how I wanted it, and then it kind of came out to be, I think, really nice, especially with the location we chose.
Yeah. Okay, and then I think there's one more wedding question, and it was, are you guys excited about the wedding, and what is your date? So our date is October 1st, 2022, so a little over a year away. And are we excited? Of course. I'm super excited. It's fun. I'm glad we booked our venue. We just booked it like last weekend, right? Actually, it was like a week ago. Yeah, last Saturday. So I don't know, we're really excited that we got our venue. We can kind of see like our vision coming together, and we have a place, and we found our date. We can send out our save the dates. It's just an exciting time. It still kind of seems far away for me, like, because what's next is like, you know, getting our DJ, booking our DJ, getting our caterer, things like that. Like, I mean, I guess I could go wedding dress shopping. I'm just not there yet. I don't know. Are you excited, babe?
Yeah. I think the nice thing, too, is having the venue booked allows us to kind of, everything kind of comes together from there. I believe, because the venue is pretty much the hardest part, because once you have the venue, then you just kind of, you can then start booking everyone else. So like getting your caterer or DJ or the bartender or whoever else, you have a date to give them, instead of, okay, we want you guys, but we don't know when yet, because you can't really set it up. So it'll help us kind of helping.
And I will say, like, I'm glad that we got engaged like pretty early. Like, we had like a 2-year engagement.
Yeah.
Because from COVID, a lot of people are already, 2022 is already almost booked up already, and it's next year. So I'm glad that we kind of got engaged early. That way we, get a date that we want, and a time of year we want, and things like that, a venue we want, and we don't have to be, we can get what we want instead of just settling. If that makes sense. Because a lot of people, all the venues that we've looked at, they are almost all booked up for 2022 already, and that's insane to me. But yeah, we're very excited. Okay, so the next question is, what annoys you about each other? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You can go.
Okay, so it annoys me when, like he said, he does play his game quite a bit. Sometimes I feel that he plays it a little bit too much in one day, and like I'm kind of the one doing most of the things around the house on a day-to-day basis. But I will say he has been better about it lately. But that is one thing that annoys me.
Yeah.
I feel like it annoys a lot of girls though.
Yeah. The thing that I would say annoys me is there's sometimes where she likes to get things done at the moment, and sometimes I'm like, all right, give me a little bit, or can we do it tomorrow? And she's really determined to make sure I do it, even if I don't want to do it right then. So I would say just kind of, she doesn't like to be patient sometimes with getting stuff done, because I do things when she asks me to, but sometimes if it's not right then I can tell she gets frustrated, and then that makes me a little frustrated.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a similar.
It's a similar kind of back and forth, but
yeah, little things will annoy you.
Yeah. It'll happen.
Okay, and then piggybacking off of that, what is your favorite memory with each other? I don't know. I really liked it. We went to Disney when we graduated with his parents. That was super fun. And just some memories that, we had never been to Florida together before. And I've never been to Disney. He had when he was little.
I was like 4.
Yeah, but I think that was kind of fun. Getting engaged was fun. That was a fun memory. I don't know. What do you think? We have a lot of memories. It's hard to pick one.
Yeah, I have a lot. Obviously, when I first asked you out and you said yes.
Mm-hmm. We were so little.
Yeah, we have a picture of us, because I asked her out with a soccer ball and wrote on it, because I was young and tried to make it as special as possible. Mm-hmm. But we have a picture, and every time we see it, we're like, oh my gosh, we were tiny. Mm-hmm. That's obviously one. Moving in together, it was exciting. There was a time in her life where she was in a really bad spot as far as health-wise, because she had a lot of surgeries and stuff she had to go through that some people may know, but as far as to say, it sounds messed up that that's a favorite, but I think after the math of all of her surgeries, how determined she was to get back up on her feet, and because she missed the first semester of college actually, and she said to me that she did not want it to hold her back, and now recently my favorite moment is learning that she actually could graduate a semester before me, and she started after me. So it's more of like a proud / favorite moment that has recently happened. Obviously me proposing is fun. It was actually, because she's really good about, I can't keep secrets, which isn't a bad thing, but she had, for the most part, absolutely no idea that I was proposing when I did.
I had no idea.
So, so that was another bonus, because I was proud of myself then for being able to do it and having her dressed up, because she wanted to have her nails done, hair nice, and all that, and I was able to figure out a way to get her all nice and dressed up and propose without making it obvious and giving it away to her. So those are a few of my favorites, but I don't know if I have one favorite, because we have many memories together.
How is college going?
College is good. it's been stressful lately because being a junior now, almost senior next fall, the classes are getting pretty rough. But
Yeah.
I've kept all A's or higher, or B's or higher, and only gotten like 4 B's, I think. So I'm at like a 3.8 GPA. So as far as grades wise and job waiting for me, I have all that kind of taken care of for the most part. So it's just all about finishing off as strong as I can at this point. So
Yeah, and then for me, like, it's been going good. The only thing I'm struggling with now is I don't know what I want to do when I graduate. Like, that is something that I thought I had figured out going into college, but after taking a few years of college, I changed my mind. Like, I feel like I grew as a person. Like, I want to have a family and things. Like, I wanted to be a doctor before. And for me, in my future life, that doesn't make sense for me anymore. In my head, I'm like, I want to have time with my family and do all this. It's like family is more important to me than, you know, the money that I'll make. And of course, I would enjoy being a doctor. That's something I really was passionate about. But I feel like for family life for us, it doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I want to do, but I'll figure it out. Okay, and then the next question: how is it living with each other at a young age?
I think it's fine. I think that's a very difficult topic to talk about because there's different beliefs that people have.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as us and our relationship, I've enjoyed it. It's especially going through college together because
We've probably gotten closer.
we've gotten closer and have grown in more ways than just, okay, we're dating, we hang out, and we know each other. We actually know each other and are able to live with each other and kind of, yeah, it's I've enjoyed it. And then like I was about to say, for college wise, like there's times where we can help each other, or like different programs, like for example, like Microsoft Excel. There's sometimes where she kind of I'm right there for her to help her with that.
I recently got a MacBook, and it's like different on my MacBook than it was on my Windows laptop.
Yeah, so it's just kind of nice because we're always right there to help each other instead of having to call or FaceTime and then do it over the phone and try and figure it out that way. So
yeah,
it's been.
Well, and it's like you're my best friend, so.
Yeah, and then so we get to hang out with each other whenever we want.
Yeah.
All day, any day, and yeah, so I've enjoyed it.
I think it's been good too because, I would recommend it for people just because, like, living with your significant other, even before you get married, because you get to figure out if you can live with that person and, you know, what things annoy you about them before you get into a marriage where it's like, oh crap, like, we're not.
Yeah, you'll have no experience. And then
Yeah,
you could,
like, I can't live with this person. Like, we butt heads so much.
yeah, like, you could be the dirtiest person and the cleanest person, and that just wouldn't coincide together.
Yeah. So, I enjoy it. Like, I feel like I've learned more about him, and he's learned more about me. Kind of like our habits, like, with how we like to live and whatnot. So, I have enjoyed it. So, someone asked, how have you guys stayed together for so long?
Well, I know there's a lot of people that I've known in my time, especially like high school and stuff, that they kind of struggle to find the one like to stay with, and that's not a bad thing. I think when you find that special person, you kind of know after a little while.
Like, maybe we didn't know it right away.
Yeah, like obviously we were like young kids and we were in love and all that stuff early on, and then once you kind of go on and you still continuously don't have problems and
you enjoy being around each other. You don't get annoyed of each other. You respect each other's wishes and all that. The kind of more you do that, you kind of start to realize, oh, okay, this is a better relationship than I was originally thinking, and I thought it was already good before. Mm-hmm.
Like, I know there's a lot of people that get in arguments a lot, and arguments are always a good thing to an extent because you kind of argue, say each other's things, what your thoughts are and whatnot. But then it's not about how many arguments, it's about how you're able to learn from the arguments or conflicts with each other and each kind of adapt to what the other one was saying or whatnot. So and we haven't argued a lot, especially after high school. But even then, we both respected each other, and whenever we thought something wasn't right or had something to say, we would both talk, listen. It didn't get ugly, obviously, and
No, we don't like yell at each other or
no, it's usually
anything.
yeah, we don't ever yell at each other. It's a lot of okay, let's be civil and talk it out, and
What are
go
your
from-
problems? Here are mine.
yeah, and then find a happy medium and adjust.
Yeah, I think that it's all about finding the right person too. Like, I know it can be hard to like find like the right person, but learning how people like to argue, learning how people live, learning what makes them like tick and makes them mad, and what makes them happy, how they like to be loved. Like Adam, what's your love language? Tell them. Do you like acts of service?
I like acts of service.
Yeah. Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Am I too?
I'm an acts of service girl, and I don't need words of affirmation. Mine is
Quality time.
yes, yeah. Mine is quality time and acts of service. His is words of affirmation and acts of service. So just learning how people like to be loved, because it might not be the same way that you like to be loved. So I think that's
And you got to be able to give the other person what they'd like, even if it's not your style, I guess, of how you want to be loved. Because
you
everyone
have to
has
like
their
fight for each other.
yeah. You can't just expect to get loved the way you want to, but not give the love they want to as well. You're gonna have to.
You have to communicate. You have to fight for each other.
Yeah, and if you have, I think the biggest key is being able to talk about something that you might not necessarily want to talk about and then get more out of it than like just an argument. Because if you just have another argument, then it's not going to help. It's more of learning off of what your needs are and making sure you're able to have a nice and open relationship talking wise and communicating with each other.
Yeah, so those are like the main points, like communication, learning about the other person, and always being there for each other. I feel like like the three main things for us that we feel like can make or break a relationship. I feel like a lot of people don't communicate and don't vocalize like, hey, I didn't like this, or hey, I wish we could do something different here. The next question is, what advice would you give couples just starting out in their relationship?
I would say that one of my problems was I just wanted to hang out with her all the time. So it was kind of like a honeymoon phase kind of thing where you just want to be with that person all the time. And she had to tell me eventually, but it was like every day I'm like, oh, you want to hang out, want to hang out. And we're only freshmen.
14 and 15.
14 and 15, and I just wanted to hang out with her all the time and spend time with her. And
I was like, oh my gosh.
So you don't want to. You want to make sure you give them space. You don't want to
make sure you're your own person.
Yeah, make sure you're still your own person and can hang out with other people like your friends and whatnot. You don't want to give up your friends for it, because then that's when it gets a little unhealthy. So I'd make sure, because early on is when you start learning things you may or may not like about someone, and just because you don't like it about them doesn't mean it's not worth giving a try. So I would make sure that it's really important early on to communicate and figure out what that person's all about and talking and learning about each other.
Ask important questions.
Yeah, you don't have to necessarily ask like really deep questions, but just like general questions. So like when you're talking about love language, obviously love language isn't necessarily just about love. It's just kind of like relationship wise, marry, love kind of thing. It's more of about, you can be dating and still get those types of love language and still feel like it'll make you happy. You'll be getting what you want out of a relationship if you guys are each doing it. So a lot of it is making sure you're communicating and learning each other's kind of needs and how they are, and a lot of talking. I don't want to sound like a broken record because all I keep saying is communication, but a lot of times communication is the key to making sure. Because if you just don't say anything, then that's when relationships typically end because they just aren't even talking to give each other a chance.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question is, it's like not as deep, but we should probably ask this in the beginning, but can you do an apartment tour? And I think we will. There's like, I want to get a dresser. There's like a few more things that I want to get. So things are a little bit more organized before I do an apartment tour, but yeah, that is on the list for sure. It might be a little bit later, but I definitely want to do one because I do really like our apartment.
I agree.
Okay, and then I think there was a question about kids that I saw.
You had kid names picked out.
Well, and then the other one was, how many kids do you want to have, and when will you start trying to have kids? So how many kids do we want?
So we've been all over the place on how many, and you never really know because
yeah,
you'll know and you'll see when you get there. But we've agreed on
we want a bigger family.
We want a bigger family because a lot of times, like when you're working all the time and getting into that point of your life, kids are kind of fun to get your mind off work, and I know it can be hard early on, but like I want to be able to see my kids at their sporting events or different events that they'll be at, like band or orchestra, whatever they're doing, singing. Yeah. I just want to be able to go and see my kids and be proud of my kids, and multiple kids, not just one kid to be proud of. I want to be able to watch and grow a relationship with a lot of kids. So I think we're talking about around 5. 4 or 5 kids is I think where we're at. And as far as when we're starting, we do not want to start until we're at least married. We know that for sure. And then we may wait a little bit just so we can at least
make sure we have a good job.
We want to have a job and make sure life's kind of set up
and whatnot.
Because kids can be expensive. And by can be, I mean are really expensive.
And we don't want to have kids who are not ready.
Yeah, and we don't want to be not ready and then get stuck having to take care of kids when we aren't financially stable enough to give them a good life kind of thing. So it'll probably be a year or 2 at least after we get married. And as far as kid names, we have talked about a few options, and none of them are set in stone, but there's a few we really like. I think the biggest problem for us is trying to find a boy name, because girl names are like, oh, that's a cute name and we like that name, but you don't want to necessarily have a cute name for a boy. So
manly name.
Yeah, so I think boy names are what we're kind of struggling with finding something we both like. So,
but I don't want to share any of our names.
Yeah, we don't want to say any names that aren't set in stone yet. So
okay, well, I know 2 funny ones for you guys. So the first one is, does Sierra have a bad shopping habit? That's for Adam. No,
I wouldn't say so. There's a lot of times where she'll see something and be like, I have to get that. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Let's not start getting something.
I don't buy stuff a lot. Like I see things that I like, and I'm like, okay. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna save up for this, or I'm gonna wait until I have X amount of money to buy this. But I don't buy things all the time. Like obviously, we're saving for a wedding and whatnot, and that is very expensive. If you guys want us to do a video about wedding costs and like how much an actual wedding costs, then let us know, and we'll kind of break down. We're like big savers on money, like we save money a lot, so we can give you guys some tips on how to save money planning your wedding and whatnot. But I do not think that I have a bad spending habit, but that is more of a question for you.
I think there's a lot of times you say something you want to get, but you don't necessarily buy it.
Yeah, like I'm an online shopper, and I'll fill up my Amazon cart with like 50 items that I'll never buy. So same thing goes for like clothes shopping. So
yeah,
not to me. And the last question is, what is Adam's favorite smell?
So
That's a weird question.
we saw this one in advance, and I told her, and she gave me the most dumbfounded look ever. Like, are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
So, back when I played Major League Baseball for like Little League, we were early to a weekend game, and I had to go to the restroom when I got there. I didn't go before I left, so I had to go to the restroom, and I went to the porta potty, and it was the best smelling thing ever. And that sounds really weird, but it was because it was a brand new, freshly cleaned and scented porta potty. And I'm sure you all can probably imagine that when the porta potty's new, they probably put as many of the scented things in there as they can to make the stench not come out as early as possible. And it was like a fruity, rosy, flowery kind of smell, and it was it smelled so good. But it's really weird, because then I remember going back to the dugout where all the other players were and my friends, and I was like, guys, you have to go smell that porta potty. And they're like, no, are you crazy? Why would we go do that? But no one ever did. But it's funny when talking about things that smell good, and I'm like, there was one time where I was in a porta potty. I get a lot of funny looks, but that was probably the best thing I ever smelled. As weird as that sounds.
Alright, you guys, that completes our Q&A and mukbang. We hope you guys enjoyed. The food was really good.
Yes, it was.
But let us know your thoughts down below and what videos you guys would like to see in the future from us. And we'll see you guys in our next one.
See you guys.
Bye!